Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Today I wanted to kind of go through the Tacarra and Samyra drama. This TikToker, Mighty Murph and Fash, kind of did like a recap or a breakdown of all the different drama between them. I did see a couple of these TikToks on Samyra's page, but I didn't honestly think it was like that big of a thing. You know, I know I got some comments on my channel, but it just, I don't know. I didn't realize it escalated a lot further than what I had seen. My knowledge of it was just that Tacarra said, you don't have to be a size 3X, just lose some weight, which to me is not a very controversial statement, in my opinion. I mean, I guess to certain people it is controversial, but it's probably one of the most basic statements, you know, going from a 3X to a 1X. It's not in any way unattainable for people. Like, realistically, it really isn't. It's not a crazy standard by any stretch of the imagination, especially if you're really looking at fitting into certain brands or clothes like at Target or something like that, and just having more access to different brands. It would be a good strategy, probably not only that, but for your health, to lose a cool 30 pounds or whatever. You know, in some cases it can be bigger though. It can be a more drastic difference. Like I know within like a basic 3 to 2X, it's like 100 pounds, but between a 2 and a 1, it's less. It's complicated. Clothing sizes are weird. I don't know. Samyra might have to lose a lot of weight to get to a 2X, so maybe that's something, but you could still do it. I get that in fat acceptance it's not possible, but remember, on this channel, we reject fat acceptance ideology to its core. So we do not accept that weight loss is impossible. That's not something that we're going to accept. We're not going to accept that here. We don't even entertain it. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch the recap here and get into it.
Tacarra and Samyra. I'm going to recap everything that's been going on in the plus size world on my For You page so that you don't have to watch and dig through a bunch of videos. So Tacarra's claim now that I have seen is that Samyra somehow, somewhere, said that her clothes were ugly and, quote unquote, heavy quotations, attacked her career. Have I been able to verify that anywhere? Absolutely not. I have looked through comments on TikTok, comments on Instagram. There are no videos. Nowhere can I verify this. The closest thing that I have gotten is in this video. This person said that Samyra said that her comedy was not funny. Which, like, honestly, I didn't even know who Tacarra was until all of this started. So to give you background, Tacarra is a comedian. She does like stand-up. Again, I had never heard of her until all of this happened. The only Tacarra I knew was the girl who was a plus-size model on America's Next Top Model back in the day.
Yeah, my impression of the situation when I kind of casually glanced at the TikToks was just, to me, she just seemed like another person that was kind of irritated by Samyra's like format of video, which Samyra, she irritates a lot of people. She just does. It's just a reality. I don't really know what else to say. There are a lot of people who like her, but there's a lot of people who don't like her. So it's not a surprise to me at all when somebody has a criticism of Samyra, or when somebody doesn't like Samyra's style of content or format. It shouldn't be surprising to anybody. I guess on TikTok, you know, they can live in a bit of an echo chamber. They can be shocked at that kind of thing. It isn't shocking whatsoever to me. But anyways, okay.
And of course, Samyra, we know because she pushes for plus size clothing inclusivity online. So let's get into Tacarra's first video.
And I'm going to keep it cute.
Are you?
The hand is that you feel like stores should practice plus size exclusivity, which I completely agree with. If you advertise that you sell a certain size, you should have it in store for us to try on. I get it. But that's 10% of the problem. 90% of the problem is you. 90% of the problem is that you lack discipline to get down to a smaller size. 90% of the problem is that you don't have to be a 3X.
So what's interesting to me is that in fat acceptance, the things that she's saying, they're not even worth entertaining. It's not even worth thinking about. It's not even worth processing. And I think it's important for us to understand that they're at a position now where they've convinced a lot of followers and a lot of people that it's so completely impossible to lose weight that it is ludicrous, that you can just make a little smile at this, not say anything, which I will always criticize Samara for this. She hardly ever has any kind of an argument. And all her fans say is, what's an argument? She's not arguing with somebody. It's like they literally think an argument can only mean like fighting with somebody. It's like, no, an argument also means a logical argument or an argument about the facts. Duh. But that's the levels that her smiles and smirks and stuff, that's what she has inspired into her fans, is that kind of criticism or view, that level of critical thinking. I'll put it to you that way. So I find it interesting that as somebody who's, I'm not in fat acceptance whatsoever. I obviously work to fight it. But I don't accept the premise that this is impossible, and I don't think you should either. So they're both just doing this premise here that it's impossible, it can never happen, it's laughable. Ha ha ha. Ho ho ho. No, we see it happen all the time. People lose weight all the time. It is possible. What Tacarra is saying is not crazy at all. But that goes to show what insular online communities can create.
Choice. You've been campaigning about this for years. Shit, you even wrote a song about it. And instead of saying, hey, let me get to a healthier version of me, you want to go into Old Navy and H&M.
So look at how triggered she was by the health thing. I get it. You're triggered by the truth. I get it. It bothers you. It bothered me too. When I was bigger, it definitely bothered me. It's scary. It's very scary.
And Forever 21 and American Eagle and have a temper tantrum that they don't have a size 3X instead of focusing on the fact that you don't have to be a size 3X. And I know somebody's going to come on here and say, oh my God.
You don't. I used to be and I'm not anymore. Isn't it funny how that works? Sorry, I'm just moving stuff around on here. Isn't it funny how that works though?
She's fat shaming. She's fat phobic. I'm not. I'm fat too. I'm a 1X. I'm a chunky monkey too. But I don't come on social media complaining that the stores don't have my size. Instead, I try not to be that size. So get some discipline in your life and focus on it.
Okay, there's
so the interesting thing about that is like if she says that she's not fat phobic, they're defining fat phobia in two different ways. So fat acceptance defines fat phobia as any criticism of a fat person, essentially. I mean, it literally comes down to that. Like, it could be pretty much anything. If it's even somewhat tangentially related to weight issues, and it's something that fat acceptance does not agree with, or something that is a criticism of one of their beliefs or one of their statements, then it's fat phobic. What Tacarra is saying is, I'm not fat phobic, therefore I don't hate fat people. I don't have an issue with fat people. I'm not out to get fat people. And then she says, I'm fat myself. So from that definition of fat phobia, it makes sense. But that's not what fat phobia means anymore. Fat acceptance has completely changed that term, which again, I think that term was honestly, it had issues from the beginning. I don't think fat phobia is the correct term for what it is. What I would say is it's typically somebody who has toxic ritualistic mindsets, or either a past or a current, more likely a current struggle with the letter E followed by the letter D. Okay, I have to speak a little bit coded. But I think that tends to be the people who have the most issue with people who are fat. And a lot of fat people can have those issues. They can, I know you guys observe it in reality that a lot of times fat people, they're always looking at who's the fattest person in the room. They're commenting on what other people are doing or eating, on who's gaining or losing weight. This is common, and it's because of those mindsets within that toxic ritualistic behavior. That's where that comes from. I don't think it's a phobia or a form of bigotry in as much as it is a mental health issue that can be then externalized onto other people. Now, that's to completely separate something like romantic attraction or, anything like that. That's a totally different thing. But you can be not attracted to somebody and not have like an animosity toward them. Does that make sense? And I think your typical person in the world that doesn't have toxic ritualistic mindsets, they're not going to have any animosity towards fat people, even if they wouldn't want to date somebody who's fat because it's not what they're attracted to. But there are a lot of people who are attracted to it. And so it is what it is, right? I don't think it's it's not the same as bigotry in this typical sense of it. And the reason why is because it is something that is mutable. Anybody can become fat and anybody can become thin. And I know that statement would really piss off fat acceptance, but it is fact. So it is different. It's always going to be different. It's never going to be the same thing. And again, most people just don't give, I'm just going to cuss because I'm brat now. Most people just don't give a fuck about it. And that's the reality of it. They don't. It's typically only people that have a past, which I love to say that in quotes, a past with it, or people who are reacting to fat people who are typically in fat acceptance who are being really annoying. Then an animosity can be formed. Or it tends to devolve into some other political conversation, which that opens up a whole other can of worms. But when we're talking about fatness, is it really a form of bigotry? I don't think so. I think it is toxic ritualistic mindsets that unfortunately have permeated society and institutions, and therefore TikTok as well. And I think fat acceptance TikTok has taken a lot of the letter E followed by the letter D mindsets that come from the one where you eat too much. And they've created almost like a pseudo religion out of it, or as a lot of people would call it, a CULT. And I think that's kind of what this is. Or like I've heard it compared to like a what is it? Like multi-level marketing or something like that, like a pyramid scheme, something like that. It's similar. It's something like that because there's a lot of money in it too, and they always deny that, but that's a fact too. There's money in it as well, so it's a mess on TikTok, which is why I'm here. I'm going to be like, no, this is crazy for so many different reasons, but yeah, it goes deep. Okay, it does. But at its core, you see what they're saying or how they're pushing these mindsets. This is a mental health issue that you are making an ideology out of. It's wild. Okay? Let's continue here.
So much to unpack from that, but let's get into her, I guess, follow-up video.
What's going on there?
She's like, we have so much to unpack. Because she hates herself, because she's fat. And so she hates herself because she criticizes a fat person. So that means that she hates herself because if you criticize a fat person, then you're fat phobic in this new definition. That's basically what she's saying.
girl's page and why she's still dragging this situation, but you
She's
gotta let it go,
dragging it.
honey. You post up what I said about you. Nothing that I said about you is a lie. Nothing that I said about you is a lie. You stand for plus size exclusivity in
fat
stores.
shaming
You've
was
been a 3X
unnecessary,
for
but
years. You don't have to be a 3X. If the stores are not going to change their policy.
Telling somebody they don't have to be fat is not fat shaming. It's not. It's just a statement of fact. You guys are so overly sensitive now that anything that isn't just gain as much weight as possible and have as much fat on you as you could possibly have before you die, that if you don't say that to them, then you're fat phobic. It's ridiculous. That is a statement of fact. You do not have to be a 3X. You don't. That's all she said. That is a very benign statement. It's not even dramatic or inflammatory or anything whatsoever. You guys are sensitive. You're at the point where you're denying reality, or you're really, really deluding yourself into the point where this has like offended your, again, your pseudo-religious principles or something. It's crazy. Or I guess your politics. I mean, I guess, but how wild is it that they're making the statement, you don't have to be a 3X, a political statement? Isn't that wild? That is not a political statement. It's not even close to politics. It's crazy to me.
Policies to make you feel more comfortable when you shop in their stores, then you make yourself feel more comfortable when you shop in their stores. That's the only thing that you have control over. And to be honest, that's the best option for the situation at hand. It's just to lose some more weight so you don't have to deal with this. Then everybody that's
True. Because I think the fat acceptance mindset is for the entire world to become fatter, and just it's supposed to get so fat that they don't feel like they're fat anymore, even though they love being fat. Like, it's very weird. Again, it's not logical though, and I think a lot of people don't understand that because it comes from a disordered place. That's where it comes from. So the logic behind it is not sound. It's not real. It has, chain email vibes. It isn't it. It's not real. So I feel really bad, and there's all these people in the comments that agree. So many people agree with this, and this is deadly. This can have deadly consequences because it doesn't matter what you think about yourself or what you think is true about being fat. Reality always hits. It always comes. And these people on here, they don't tell the truth. You're not going to hear about Samyra's health issues. You're not going to hear about Mighty Murph and Fash's health issues. They oftentimes cover things up because they're worried about it being fat phobic to talk about the problems they have, when it's not. It's not fat phobic to have concerns for people who are fat, who could prevent problems. That's not fat phobic. It's stupid.
Coming on my page trying to defend her, y'all all look exactly the same. All of y'all look the same. Everybody look the same.
Let's fast forward.
That's true. A lot of her commenters, they say like the same exact things, and they don't have any arguments either. And they're just like, not you saying this, and they don't really have anything to say at all. It's so I get what she's saying there. They don't.
More people.
Just to be clear, I wear a 1X. So for everybody in the comments asking me
and let's focus on the fact that she's smaller. Clearly, Tacarra has a lot of things that she has not addressed about anti-fat bias that she has. And
look at the smugness. Look at the I'm holier than thou attitude. It's really I hope you keep doing that. I think you should just get even worse. That'll actually help me. The more smug you get, the more it will help me. So keep doing it. Keep doing it, Mighty Murphin, You're right. You're right, Mighty Murphin. You're so right. Keep talking about it. Please and please. Please. keep it smug. Keep it smug. It helps me.
Yikes. We'll go into it more because there's so much more, but we'll also get into the lives that they did because I learned a lot about Samara that I didn't know. She is amazing. But yeah, let's keep going because there's so much more. Tacarra continues to spiral out. This is a comment from Tacarra's Instagram. What else do you want them to do? I'm asking a serious question. What exactly is your expectation when you walk into a Walmart or Target and they do accommodate your size? Where do you expect them to have plus size clothing in store? I don't know, just to have them like they have the rest of the clothing.
Do they not? I go to Walmart all the time. They have up to 3X. Are you upset that they don't have beyond a 3X? Because you can order it online. I mean, are you upset that it doesn't look nice? Or what are you upset about? I've been a 4X and I was able to get clothes, you know. In store, it was a struggle, obviously. And I had to kind of deal with a 3X, but I could. But that was because I was more so in a pinch. I'm not sure if they have a 4X because I never actually bought that, but I think I was like kind of in that mindset where I was like, I don't want to be like, you know, I want to try to get this under control kind of thing. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I still wore clothes. I still was able to buy clothes at Walmart. That's all I'm trying to say. They were a little snug, but I still was able to get them.
Is that really?
And is 3X not enough of a plus size? Like, you know, when I was going beyond a 3, it's like, oh gosh, you know, this is like a lot. You know, I was getting towards being 400 pounds. Is that really a sustainable size? Is that really a reasonable size to be? I mean, think about that. Should that be normal? This is not like some kind of crazy expectation. You know, they act like you have to be a size 2 to shop at Walmart. You don't. I mean, just be real. And I think that they can't handle that because it's too much. It's too much. Like, you can't see how bad it's really gotten sometimes. It's like a coping mechanism, I think.
That really like a question? God forbid, like we have access to things? Is this a joke?
You could. If you lost some weight, you have access to weight loss. It might be a long path. It might be a while, but it's worth it. And then you'll never have to think about that again. I don't have to think about if I'm going to fit in clothes at Walmart. I don't even have to think about that for a second. I don't have to think about if I'm going to fit on a plane anymore. I don't have to think about any of that. Because I did what needed to be done and the problem is solved. I get that it's hard, but I think if you slow down your expectations, it's going to be a lot more achievable than what you would think. Just saying.
Like you always do, you want to be the victim. Once again, you want to
She
be the
wants
victim.
to be the
again.
victim,
You
but
wanna
like
say
look at
somebody's
how many
bullying you or something's not
comments
going in the
she's
direction
leaving
you want it to
about
go in.
this.
Once again. And I
Look at how
Okay, she's leaving comments because she's being spammed by Samyra's supporters. That's why. So they're feeding into it. I don't know if Mighty Murphin just doesn't have any traction or traffic on her page whatsoever, but I don't appreciate this framing of it as a fellow content creator that has been in this, you know, that has been doing this. I know what it's like to have spam comments or to have the same thing happen, or I've had friends that have had this happen to them. I've seen it. It can go on for days and days and days. And not everybody can handle that super well. Sometimes people get upset. I've even gotten upset with comments on my own page. You know, I don't judge Tacarra for being upset by a constant stream of these comments. It's probably annoying the hell out of her. And so she's going to keep talking about it. And then they're like, oh, she just keeps talking about it. She just keeps talking about it. Yes, because the audience keeps talking about it. Which I'm not saying that it's necessarily the best move to always respond to that as a content creator, but that's a different topic entirely. But to have the human emotion of being berated and irritated constantly by this, you're going to feel angry. Most of the time, people will be mad at being constantly spammed the same thing over and over and over again. And that's how Samyra supporters are. I've seen it. So it's annoying. It's really, really, really annoying. It's so bad. It's so weird. So it's like, I think when you're having that happen to you, like, again, a typical person that could have some kind of empathy or look at a situation from another person's point of view would see, yeah, she's annoyed by all the spammed comments. That's what this is. That's what I see. I don't think Tacarra's crazy for continuing to talk about it. She's annoyed by the comments. But the more she talks about it, the more comments will be there. So again, I can understand a criticism of that, but don't act like she's so alien or she's so weird or she's so insane because she's frustrated and irritated with the spam. Because she's not. It's very normal to feel that. It's very normal. Like I said, is something typically within social media or within this sphere, when you're doing stuff online, you have to learn how to handle it and not necessarily react to things. And that can be tough. I get that, but that's more of like a content creator topic, but I'm just saying I don't appreciate that she's a content creator. She knows that. I don't expect the audience to know that, but I do expect Mighty Murphin to understand that. So this is stupid from my vantage point or from where I'm viewing things.
Bothered she is just by someone asking for inclusivity, which would benefit everyone.
I don't know what her brand is. That's what she do on her side. I'm not posting about it. I'm not saying nothing about it. But again, I have to address it.
Yeah, like she said, she's trying to deal with the hate. She posted a picture that says, expressing how you feel about a specific person does not equate to how you feel about a demographic of people. Taking someone else's situation and personalizing it to fit your narrative is a mental issue. I was very clear when I said you, not they, them, y'all. So she's basically saying she just doesn't like Samyra. It's a personal problem. It's not necessarily something that every fat person is doing, but in Samyra's content creation and within fat acceptance, they try to create this bizarre hive mind of fatness. And I have seen that where it's like a de-individualization, I think the word is. If I got that wrong, I'm sorry. I'll just blame it on the fact that I'm brat. But what I will say is they encourage that. And that's why they have that mindset. If a celebrity loses weight or if a fat acceptance influencer changes their mind and starts to lose weight, they see it as they've lost a part of their identity of like this hive of fatness. It's very bizarre. But yeah, she was making a personal criticism in a comment about Samyra. I'm brat. I don't think I would respond to this. It would have to be a very specific situation where I would respond, that I'd have to see it when I got to it. But with this, as Charlie XCX says, I'm not invited because I'm such a hater. I don't care. I just don't. So to me, it's like, whatever. It would blow over. The Samyra fanboys and fangirls would get over it after a while because they're just seeking some kind of outrage. That's all it is. And it will pass if you bore them. But if you don't want to bore them and you want to use it, that's your prerogative too. Just make sure you don't go crazy and make sure it's not making you look crazy, which is what this might, she might not be handling it completely well. She needs to make her point and then be done. If you're responding to the audience and not Samyra, then it can look bad optically. But this is like a totally different topic. But I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. Okay? A lot of people make this mistake in social media. A lot of people do this in social media. We've seen it many a time. It's not the right move, in my opinion. But just stating this picture and then leaving it as it is, not everybody will read it. Not everybody will listen to what you say. Not everybody will understand what you say. And it takes a lot to come to that conclusion that I can't control how other people perceive what I say, especially within fat acceptance, where they will often gaslight you or completely lie about what you said or completely try to shift things into something totally different. And they're very vicious because, again, it comes from a disorder. So be careful when you're dealing with this.
Because it gets to a point
because they're nasty, and they're usually, because they have that, and you can tell that it's coming from the mindset, because they typically will attack you over your looks and your body a lot of the time, which it has to do with toxic ritualistic behavior and a fixation on people's physical form. So that's where they tend to go, is that they tend to attack physical characteristics of people. It's so bad, like being in this timeline and seeing this occur as somebody who suffered with that toxic ritualistic mindset for many, many years, and seeing this like weird algorithmic social media push of this into like a cult / multi-marketing scheme or multi-level marketing scheme. It's very bizarre. Super, super, super bizarre to see. But a lot of people have that issue, and they come together and they feed into the delusions that they each have, and it just keeps growing and getting worse and worse. It's so bad, you guys. It's really bad.
Integrity. I'm not a fat phobic, and when people start putting your integrity on the line, you have to defend your integrity. That's what's making me say, you know what?
This
I
is
am
integrity.
older. I am the bigger, not that I'm the big.
That's why you're really mad. Given the climate, I would use a different choice of words. Oh my God.
Your person, but I'm the older person. At this point, it's just getting out of control and out of hand, and I'm over it.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the lives, and we'll start with Tacarra.
Okay. Let's see.
The narrative is I'm fat phobic. That is a lie.
Anti-fat
I am
bias.
not fat phobic. I just happen to have a problem with somebody who just happens to be fat.
Yes, but you have to understand that they define it. First of all, the definition can change to suit whatever narrative, whatever thing, whatever emotion they're feeling as a collective, which again, within Samyra's feed, is whatever Samyra's feeling. And she weaponizes her audience against people a lot, which is not a good look, Samyra. I know you think you're doing so great, but it doesn't look good. To most people, it doesn't look good. It doesn't. You can think it looks great, but it really doesn't. But that's what she does. She weaponizes her audience. So basically, that's what you're doing. Because she's trying to do this to send people her way every time. That's what she's doing.
But you're telling her to lose weight and be like you.
I'm not fat phobic.
You are.
No, because in her mind, fat phobic means she doesn't like fat people. And she doesn't feel that way. So you're saying you are because she's saying to lose weight. Telling somebody to lose weight doesn't mean that you're fat phobic. It's not the same. Criticizing a fat person doesn't mean that you're fat phobic. Having anything to say against fat acceptance rhetoric doesn't mean that you're fat phobic. Again, I've already stated, I don't even think fat phobia is actually real as a concept. I think it's something totally different. But regardless, they're going to change it into whatever they feel like changing it into. So do not take this personally. Any of you don't, because it doesn't have any meaning. It means whatever they feel like it means at the time.
I don't fear fat people.
That's not
I don't
what-
fear the image of.
That's not what fat phobia means.
I don't.
it doesn't really have a meaning. That's what I will tell you. It's whatever will work at the moment. When they say you're fat phobic, it means I want the legion of fat acceptance followers to go after you. That's what it means. And it could be for any reason. Because just saying you don't have to be a 3X, that doesn't mean that you have a distaste or hatred of fat people. You're complaining about this problem. This is a solution. That's it. She's not saying she has to listen to her. She's not saying any of that, right? She's not saying she's disgusting. She's not saying she's this. Like, she didn't insult her or anything. Which, again, Tacarra needs to realize that and realize that these people are nuts. And you shouldn't argue with people who are nuts because it makes you nuts. It can make you go crazy.
I don't have inner hate for myself. I love myself.
It's projection, actually.
Have you seen me?
I have, but not before this conversation.
Have you seen me? I'm fat phobic. I have inner issues with myself. You know how long it took for me to fall in love with myself?
Yeah, it's hard, you guys, when you're getting that over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like, when that is coming into your feed constantly, it's hard for people to sometimes have the fortitude to just shut that down and not internalize it. I get it. I get that it's hard. I get it.
You know how long it took me to love me? I love me. I love me.
The fact that she can't look at the camera when she says it.
She only said this to you and you shouldn't have talked about her weight. All bets is off.
Look at this pop psychology 101. That was cringe.
And you being disrespectful.
No one's being disrespectful except you.
So y'all could get off how y'all feel in these comments. I'll let it.
All right.
That's stupid. I'm sure all of Samyra's followers that are going on that page are being very disrespectful. Please, don't even.
Right now, in very stark comparison, let's look at Samyra's live.
Yeah, because Samyra isn't going to be bothered because she's not having a legion of people hating her. She's not having a huge audience being weaponized against her. Why would she be bothered? That's so stupid. This is the most stupid logic I've ever seen in my life.
Tacarra. Speaking directly to you now.
Not her eating. She's like, I'm going to stay that 3X. I'm staying 3X. That's basically what she's trying to say.
Because you don't know me. Let me fill you in on a few things. I am 26 years old. I am from
So what?
New Orleans, Louisiana.
Point being, what's the point?
Born and raised. I graduated high school with over a 4.0 GPA. During my time there, not only was I student body president, I was prom queen. I was the first girl on my high school football team.
Amazing.
What does this have to do with being fat, though?
I was girl state governor for Louisiana.
And you're a bully. Congratulations.
I led musicals, cabarets. And from there, I went on to Harvard University,
Harvard. Amazing.
where I got my degree in sociology and educational studies. And was elected as first marshal.
Someone was like, I'm sick of you talking about Harvard. Sorry, I saw that comment. That was funny. Okay, that got me.
Of the class of
2021.
Sorry, when she talks, I'm just like, oh my God.
After graduating during the pandemic, I began working remotely from my childhood bedroom. And 7 months after...
Oh, the sermon vibes, you guys. Ugh, it's killing me. The pauses and all that. Oh my gosh. A lot of you guys don't like it either, so. But it's irritating me now. I'm starting to get irritated. I lasted a minute, though, where I was okay with it.
Starting that job, I was able to quit. Because from being myself online, from being myself fully and not waiting until thinness.
Get it.
You're not trying to. So what would you be waiting for? You're not trying at all. That's stupid. I don't agree with waiting for thinness myself, but why even bring it up if you're not trying at all?
Quit my job.
Yep. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but like, goosebumps.
Please don't.
Here's a couple more.
Definitely not goosebumps. That is cringe. Okay. Okay, Murphin. Wow.
More kind of anecdotal things I found on Tacarra's Instagram. Here's one. Wondering why I can't lose weight. Me at 3 a.m. Discipline, Tacarra. She also posted a video on her Instagram.
She's just making light of her situation. Gosh, these people are so ridiculous. They're like the least fun people in the world. I'm telling you guys. Super morbid obesity, it makes you so unfun. I was just watching this video of mine when I was really huge, and I was so like, oh gosh, I don't even know. I know this is bad to say about yourself, but it wasn't like, I'm not talking about how I looked, but it's like the way that it made me feel and like how I acted and how I spoke and like everything. It's just so like, I don't know. It's just so crotchety, I guess. It's so like stick up the ass syndrome. It's giving like, just not it. I don't know. It's horrible. But I see it a lot in super morbidly obese people, you know, like I think it can change your personality. And I've tried to say that because I don't feel that way anymore, you know. But I remember looking at it tonight and I was like, gosh, like, I'm so glad I don't have that anymore. Like, so I think more than anything, I just felt like there was such a, like when I was watching myself, it's like there was such a wall in front of me. I was so incredibly guarded all the time. And that can be exhausting and isolating. And I don't feel that way anymore, you know? So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so glad that that's over. But yeah, I think that's why they don't have any humor or anything. They can't see a meme like that and find it funny. They have to be upset about it because I think it's physical, honestly. It's very hard to be that big. It's very, very, very hard.
About how she, you know, has to wear a size 18 jeans just because of her hips, but she's really a 14. If you have to wear a size 18 jeans because of your hips, you're a size 18. Tacarra, you're a plus size, just like the rest of us. Whether you're a 3X or a 1X, you're plus size. Hate to break it to you. If size...
Sorry, that was just... Okay.
Inclusivity bothers you. That is a you problem. Inclusivity...
I don't think it is her problem. I think it's your problem. You guys are the ones who are upset. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be for real. She was fine. She can get a size 1X at a store. What is she upset about? Maybe she wants to lose some weight. Maybe she's struggling with motivation. I just talked about that in yesterday's video. I get that. But it's like, I don't know, like, why are you so intent on commenting on her body or commenting on that stuff? Like, do Do you guys see the disordered stuff? Do you see it? Do you see the lack of order? You see how they have to comment about that. It's because they're always thinking about theirs. That's why. I hope I'm giving you guys some clarity on this. I really do.
And access to clothing benefits all. If you need things to be exclusive, that means you're already included in everything.
That doesn't even make sense, but whatever.
You need some reflection on your part as to why you think people need to change themselves as opposed to being happy with the way they are.
You need to, I don't know. They need to start coming up with their own little like purification rituals or something, like a fat phobia purification that needs to be completed. I mean, it's just, that's what it's giving. I just can't. It would be so easy for me because I'd just be like, I don't give a fuck what you think. What can they say to that? Oh my gosh. Ooh, I don't care what you think. Ooh, wow, that's so mean, right? I'm so evil and mean because I don't care. Ooh, it's like you can't force people to care about stuff. And I think they're trying to prey upon her because they sense weakness in Tacarra. And that's horrible. It's vicious. It's viciousness. It's bullying. It's viciousness. That's what it is.
If people being happy with who they are bothers you, maybe you're not as happy with yourself.
If you were that happy with who you are, then it wouldn't bother you if somebody says something. That's the real tea. That's the truth. And that can be tough. That can be stinging. Even when I say that, I think about things and I'm like, ooh, there have been times when I've reacted to things that people have said. But guess what? I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with myself. Because when you're more happy with yourself, it doesn't bother you as much. Because guess what? I'll end it here, I guess. You can't control what people say about you all the time. You can't control how people see you. All you can do is control what you do and what you say and what you try to accomplish, basically. And if you're able to sleep at night, like I'm able to sleep at night because I know that what I do on this channel, it's working toward a greater good to the best of my ability. Even if it makes some people mad or whatever, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you have to say things that make people mad. It's okay though. But the intention behind it, where it's coming from, what the goal is, and how successful or unsuccessful that is a different story. You might need to pivot. And there have been times when I've needed to pivot. That's what helps you sleep at night. I'm not going to be bothered if this person says that I'm fat phobic. I will sleep so calmly at night. I do not even think about it because I don't have that mindset anymore. So it's not even something that comes up. But anyways, you guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day, night, whatever. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.